right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
All right, welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom, W5KUB. You can see it on my new shirt, look. How you like that? Kathy had me some new shirts made. Hey, this is Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio, amateur radio. If you're out there listening on international shortwave on 7490 kilohertz, we welcome you. And we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com and let us know where you are and give us a signal report how you're hearing our station up in Monticello, Maine, up on the Canadian border there at Maine. We'd love to hear from you. We haven't had a 40-meter net in several weeks. I have gone through some damage here at the house and working through all that kind of stuff. And it's been quite busy around here, but we'll get back to our 40-meter net here real soon. I'm still looking for someone to call the DMR net. We have our own talk group on DMR. We had a volunteer, but I think he never had his DMR working. So again, we're looking for a volunteer to call a DMR net for us. Let's see what else is going on here. We've got bad weather coming in tomorrow. They're already predicting this as warnings, not it might happen, but they're saying it's going to happen. We're going to have tornadoes and large hail and high winds tomorrow. But I'm in good shape because I took down a second 120-foot tree this week, so it isn't going to fall. It was leaning, but it's not going to fall now. So I got a little short 2-minute video I show you that. It's kind of ham related because I had some antennas in this. A 120-foot tree is really nice to hang your antennas in. And I had to move over to the next 120-foot tree. So anyway, we got a little short video that I've got running kind of fast motion. I'll show that to you tonight. And let's see. Oh, just one announcement. Many of you probably know Teresa. I don't know if Teresa's in the chat room tonight. Teresa Williams, KE5MUX. She has helped us out at Dayton and at Huntsville, and you may, if you've seen her there, you may have seen her mother with her. Her mother's name was Pat. Pat, her mother has passed away this week, so we, thoughts and prayers are with Teresa and her family this week. About 1980, wow, that's 40 years ago, I hired some technicians in Brussels, Belgium, to take care of my networks in Europe. And I hired a person. His name was Michel Van Hove, and he was a ham. I don't remember his call. And over the 40 years, I've kind of lost track of him. But I got an email this week and from Michel Van Hove, and he says, hey, I was looking at Amateur Radio Roundtable on YouTube with the COVID virus. Don't have much to do here, but I'm watching a lot of videos, and I found Amateur Radio Roundtable, and you were on it, and I know you. And yeah, I'll say hi, Michelle, out there in Brussels, Belgium. And it's 3 o'clock in the morning over there, so he's going to have to watch this recorded tomorrow morning when he gets up. But hey, Michelle, thanks a lot, man, for finding us. And he also mentioned that he is working on a lot of Arduino projects right now. And I I told him, I said, tonight might be a good show for you because we got Mr. Arduino with us tonight. Okay, another announcement. I forgot to do this last week, but another announcement coming up soon. Soon would be, I guess that's next, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after. This is the April Fool Ham Fest down in Corinth, Mississippi. It's a nice little ham fest. We've been down here before. I was hoping to get down there this year and at least catch some video and come back, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it because that's also another thing that's going on, and that's the KA6 LMS special event station, and we're going to be a part of that. So I don't think I'm going to get to go to this, but if anybody's in the area, get down to Corinth, Mississippi for the April Fool Ham Fest there. And they'd love to have you there. Let's see. I mentioned the special event station coming up. You know, Last Man Standing is going off the air, and they're going to have a big blowout. It's called the KA6 LMS special event, and I'm going to be one of the special event stations, and I'll be operating here from my home as a KA6 LMS /4. So maybe we'll work some of you guys. That will be March 24th through the 27th. So I think that's the announcements I had. Let's jump around here real quick, and looks like Katie is up next, and she's already changed. She's got a new hat on. Hey, Katie, how you doing?
Hi, Tom. Hi, everybody. I just thought, Bill's here, and he's always wearing his NASA hat, and I keep mine here. So, and it's actually a little chilly in the shack today. We've had, you might have seen in the news, all of, actually, it's pretty bad. Like the central and southern part of Wyoming has gotten record storms with snow, and it's bigger than the snow plows, and they're working their way out. We didn't get anything where we live other than a tiny little skiff. But however, last night we got some rain and ice, and it was just sheer ice to get, out and about today. And parts of the state, good chunk of the middle of our state was just all the interstates were shut down because of black ice. And so, yeah, it's a little bit. And it's kind of sleeting again tonight, so a good day to stay inside and be on this side of the door.
And did you get snow again?
No, we really haven't, and we desperately need it. We need moisture in the ground. So, but no, the southern part of the state, our capital's been closed for a couple of days, and you just can't get anywhere. So hopefully, maybe by tomorrow they'll be able to get to more places, and businesses and legislature can reopen. So it's definitely there's a big old wallop on everybody except for us in Northeast Wyoming.
Well, I know, like Denver and places, they've got a lot of snow. The airport's been closed.
Right.
It's going to be so bad here tomorrow with I guess this is summer thunderstorm starting to come in. It was 80 degrees today. So anyway, we've got real bad warnings tomorrow. Hail, high winds, tornadoes, and so forth. In fact, they've even canceled the COVID shots tomorrow because of that. So I guess they think ahead of time enough that they're pretty certain the weather's going to be pretty nasty. So no COVID shots tomorrow.
Well, we were supposed to do a health clinic in one of our communities. Our public health nurse goes out and meets up with families for vaccines or other wellness type things, and she canceled that out because we didn't, first of all, we were worried about her safely getting there, as well as all of the young families and babies and, car seats and older folks trying to walk on the ice and just getting anywhere safely. So just to be on the safe side, we canceled all of that. And we do have about 60 people coming into our office on Thursday for COVID vaccines, but hopefully by then the weather will be better. And so, yeah, it's been interesting. And every time Dwayne's playing on the radio, because we've had a problem with one of our switches, he has to go out and manually switch the antenna so he can get back on 160 meters. But he has been putting the satellite antenna to quite a bit of work. And I'm looking at maybe this weekend of getting on the air to activate KA6 LMS stroke 7. So we'll probably do that for a little bit as well, in addition to we're redoing our floor in our living room. So, the joys of home ownership, there's always a project going on.
Yeah. Hey, if we work you and you work us, I don't know how we log that. I guess.
Well, you're not going to be a stroke 7.
No, I'll be a 4, but.
We'll see. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
should be fun, though.
Yeah. So, have you got your shots?
I did. We both are fully vaccinated at this point, as is my mom.
Well, that's good.
So, yep, I'm out of my 2 weeks, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I am too. Kathy gets her second shot, I think, Thursday. So we're good to go.
Good.
We're good to mingle around and try to catch it now,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, don't say that.
Yeah. All right. Well, good. Hey, great news. I'm glad your weather's not bad out there, and we're going to have to get you and Dwayne to give us a little segment one night on some of the new things you're doing. Maybe talk about your satellite. I've always wanted to do the satellite stuff. I've got a satellite station set up. I just haven't operated any lately. Maybe I could do a little segment on that. Show a few contacts.
That'd be great, because he's just been learning as he goes. And I mean, we bought the radio specific for the satellite station, and it's sat over there for 2 years? Yeah, 2 years it's been sitting over there unused. And
hey, a satellite contact is different from other contacts. It lasts about 4 seconds, and that's it, man. You make a 4 second
But I did
contact.
I videotaped him making his first contact, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then, and starting next week, if we don't have anything else lined up, we have a prize to be added to the mix for 4 weeks.
What are we going to give away next week?
Well, we have a light up call sign plaques by Alan Laser Creations, who just happens to be our offspring.
Okay.
And I don't think. Can you lift that up?
I thought maybe you're giving away a one that says YL7. With your call on it.
No, we'll give it. Well, so it'll be
WL7YL. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Dwayne's over there. But
okay.
So Joe will be creating those for the lucky winner for 4 weeks. Please, U.S. only, and we'll just start next week. So each week during the show, we'll have a giveaway. Okay. You'll have to be present to win, and then we'll get a call sign plaque made up for you and shipped off.
Hey, that is cool there. All right, very good.
That shortens 4 weeks of 2020 calendars.
I know. Hey, I finally took my 2021 calendar and put it in my office, the one with Jeeves, because I really needed one. And people would walk in my office and they're always looking for a wall calendar. I'm like, I don't need one. I've got one on my computer. And so today, Melanie, who is a ham, comes in and sees my Jeeves calendar. She's like, thank you. You finally put a calendar up. I'm like, I put that one up just for you. I said, and it's a ham catalog too, or a ham calendar.
Yeah. All right, hey, okay, Glen Popiel, what have you been up to?
I have been working outside because it's darn near 80.
It is.
I had to mow the lawn and start the pool and get all that fun stuff ready.
Oh, man. I didn't know you had a pool back there. You got a pool?
Yeah, I got a monster 30,000-gallon in-ground pool with a diving board.
I don't know how you're taking care of all that stuff there between your books and your Arduino and the pool and the house cleaning and the outside.
Well, it was pretty green towards the end of last summer. But no, the book's done. I keep expecting to see the cover any day now. And, talking about getting on the air from Wyoming, I got to play with the MicroBitX this weekend that I'm reviewing, and I actually picked up 2 new states for me. I got Idaho and North Dakota out of their QSO parties. So that was, killed 2 birds with 1 stone there.
Very nice. Good job.
That's good. Okay. Well, look, we're gonna talk a little Arduino tonight, and again, this will be a special segment for my friend Michel Van Hove over in Brussels, Belgium.
Well, he picked the right night to come and watch then.
He did. He found us this week, and so he said he'll be watching again in the morning there. All right. Let's see, Alan. Come on in here, Alan, and talk to us.
All righty. Hey, it's Alan, W2AEW. We don't have the snow, but we got the cold. It's been in the 20s when I'm walking the dog in the morning, so I've been feeling that. But
Wow.
the snow's almost gone. We had some warm weather the past last week, but didn't quite get rid of all the snow next to my driveway, but it's getting close. So looking forward to spring coming up soon. In honor of your new shirt there, Tom, and then the call sign plaques, I thought I'd maybe show a little bit. A buddy of mine with a 3D printer made a couple of these kind of three-dimensional name tag things for me.
Cool. Yeah.
There's one I had black. This one's a couple of red, white, and blue. You can kind of see it's kind of in 3 dimensions. He kind of did with his little 3D printer there. So I thought that was kind of pretty cool. But anyway, I digress. The light up call sign plaques are cool. I like that. So look forward to see who wins those things. But I figured tonight we do have a tech tip segment tonight. We'll try to take a little bit of the mystery out of phase lock loops or PLLs. So it kind of follows a little bit along with video number 60 on my channel, but we'll just talk about it live.
Well, you're talking about your 3D printing there. Joe Eisenberg, our friend, our kit building friend, that's on the show occasionally. He printed me this one.
Oh, very nice.
Pretty nice little thing out of 3D printer. The problem is, Alan, we got to figure out a way to speed up these 3D printers. This may have taken 8 hours to print. I have no idea, man.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't own the printer. I know a friend who's got one. It's kind of like knowing the guy who's got a pool is better than owning a pool yourself.
That's right, it is. And I had a pool once, and I said when I buy another house, if there's a pool, and if I like the house and there's a pool in the backyard, I'm filling it in as soon as I buy the house.
I've thought about doing that many, many times.
Yeah. Oh, man. You swim in it the first year, and then after that, you don't swim in it anymore, man. Oh,
yeah, you spend more time getting it clean than you do using it.
Yeah, well, I guess the problem I had was I would get some water moccasins in it every now and then, out in the country. These snakes would, get in the pool, and you have fun getting them out.
Yeah, well, when I was growing up, I lived on a lake when I was growing up in Matawan, New Jersey, and we had a snapping turtle come up out of the lake and go into the pool, and he was a good 1.5 foot in diameter snapping turtle. And when we went to get him out, I went out there with a metal hoe, and he clamped onto that hoe. It sounded like steel hitting steel when he clamped onto that hoe, and I was able to pick him up and bring him over to the edge of the yard and literally rolled him down the embankment down into the lake again.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Bill Brown. Hey, Bill. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing fine. Lots of events coming up. This weekend, we're going to have the spring equinox balloon flights. There are going to be 18 Pico balloons, all flying the SBS 13 envelopes and carrying APRS for the most part, but there will be a couple, about 3 Whisper payloads as well. Actually, maybe 4. We're going to be launching from 18 locations over the course of the weekend, depending on weather. But it's all in celebration of the spring equinox, and it's being sponsored by Silas Education. KS1 LAS is his call sign, Trevor McDuff, out of Pasco, Washington. So we're going to have Thailand, Nigeria, 2 in Australia and 1 in Argentina, and 10 different schools and locations across the United States, all simultaneously launching over a 2 or 3 day period. So be looking on tracker.habhub.org for those, and I'll post it on Facebook. There's going to be a Facebook page. If you look for Silas, it's Sierra Italy Lima Alpha Sierra Education on Facebook, and then look for the Equinox Balloon 2021 event, and you can get an invite and follow that live.
So what are the dates on those launches?
It'll be either the 20th itself on the actual spring equinox, which is this Saturday, or it'll be on Sunday, depending on the local weather conditions.
All right. We'll probably miss that by a little bit we got one to get up, but I'd sure hate to get up there with that, all those balloons floating around up there. We may run into each other, so we'll just wait a few days.
And I have a few slides of a very interesting balloon mail flight that just occurred also from Science Museum by the SSRA Repeater Association in Pasco, Washington area, and they launched an APRS Skytracker on an SBS-13, but it hit a storm, that big storm over Illinois, and came down in Illinois very close to Mark Garrett, KA9SZX, who loves to chase and recover these things whenever possible. And so I gave him the estimated landing zone, and he went out and he found it today, sitting right by the edge of the road.
That's good. He needs to come down near Huntsville and find our last one.
He could do it.
Yeah.
He's really good at it. So I'll have some slides later in the show that I can post.
We'll look at those pictures and talk a little about the balloons here a little bit later in the show. All right. Well, hey, great. Let's see. What was I had something else that I was going to mention, but I can't think of what it was.
I've got one real quick.
What is it? Go ahead, Glenn.
This is for Alan. This weekend is the Trenton Computer Festival online, and they've got some very good seminars there. It's free. I'd recommend signing up, and Alan can give you the information and everything on that.
Is it this weekend or the next weekend?
It's this weekend.
This weekend, Saturday.
Okay. All right, so that's not I thought that might have been the one that was going to conflict with us on the next Saturday.
Yeah, and that's at www.tcf-nj.org. And they've got several seminars that I'm really looking forward to, and it's all free. And Alan did confirm with me earlier this week that they will be recording the sessions for later.
Okay, well, great. All right, well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and get started here, and let's do Alan's talk about phase lock loops first. I'm interested to see what I can learn tonight on phase lock loops. So why don't you go ahead and pick it up, Alan?
Alrighty, just got to give me share privileges here.
Okay.
A little document I can run through, and I guess after we finish up with that, I'll post some links to the Trenton Computer Festival. And while we're getting ready here, it's been run this is I think the 52nd year. We had to cancel it last year due to COVID. This year is the first year we're doing it virtually. In years past, it was kind of there was a flea market along with the various talks and things like that went along with the Trenton Computer Festival. And the flea market was kind of half Hamfest, half computer parts and things like that. This year, of course, we're not doing that piece of it. But for the last 10 years, I've been running a ham cram, a one-day review of the technician class materials, followed by a VE session. And over the last 10 years, I think all but 1 year, we had a 100% pass rate for people getting their new technician class licenses. So this year, we've got to do it all virtually. I've got a VE team that's accompanying me that is going to be running VE tests virtually. You've got to pre-register for that. So if anybody is out there who doesn't have their license yet, or if you know people who want to get their license, you can send them along, and they're more than welcome to join in the ham cram session. It starts at 9 a.m. Eastern time on Saturday. The rest of the Trenton Computer Festival starts at 10 or 10:30, but the ham cram starts at 9. And we're going to run till probably about 2 or 2:30. The VE sessions will start at 3:30 p.m. But again, you've got to register for that beforehand, because there's some work you got to do with paperwork and things like that to be ready for the exam itself. But anyway, I'll post some links to all that later on. So anyway, let's chat about PLLs. So let me bring up a quick little share here of a document. All right, so let me know if looks like we can see that here now. So I'm not going to go into a tremendous amount of detail here. Just want to kind of give you a little bit of background of what is a phase lock loop, and what are some of the components of it, and what are some of the applications that you can actually use it for. So the real simplified block diagram of a phase lock loop consists of 3 major components. You've got a phase detector, a loop filter, and a voltage controlled oscillator. And then there'll be some input signal that goes into the phase detector. The rest of it's a loop. And you can take outputs out of this phase lock loop in a couple of different places, depending on what you want to use the PLL for. And so let's actually walk through what a couple of these blocks are. Okay, as we scroll down here. So the first is the VCO, or the voltage controlled oscillator. And this is a pretty simple thing, especially for most of us hams. It basically is an oscillator, a free running oscillator, whose output frequency is controlled by a voltage that is applied to the input. Generally, it's got a response of this is kind of an exaggerated view of the output frequency versus the input voltage, okay, to kind of show how that behaves. And again, pretty simple type of concept here. And the output frequency versus tune voltage doesn't necessarily have to be linear. It doesn't have to go down and cross through zero, as long as the characteristic of it is monotonic, meaning it doesn't change directions on you. Like you don't have a curve that goes down and then it starts going the other way. As long as you always have a increase in, or say for example, an increase in frequency with an increase in voltage, or the opposite, as long as it's monotonic, you can make it work inside of a PLL. And the frequency range you cover is really going to be really determined by what your application is. Some VCOs have a very narrow tuning range. If it's something that's tuned with like a varactor diode, it might only tune over tens of kilohertz, or maybe hundreds of kilohertz at most, for example. Whereas a VCO that's used in, maybe a rig to set up the LO frequencies in a receiver, for example, might tune over a much wider range. So it really depends on the application. It's going to determine what that VCO characteristic is. But at the end of the day, it's just a voltage controlled oscillator. So that's inside this PLL. Okay. And then that's driven by the output of a loop filter. And I'm not going to go a whole lot into the loop filter, other than to say it's a low-pass filter that is taking the output of a phase detector to help close this loop. So let's kind of scroll back down here and take a look at the phase detector. There's a couple of different types of phase detectors that are used in PLLs. And there's different type names for it, depending on which PLL you're looking at or things like that. But very commonly, a type called type 1 kind of behaves like a logical XOR gate, that when the input signals are different, you're going to get an output that goes to 1. So in this case here, if we look at the beginning, even though in1 is leading input 2, when they're both at the same voltage, we get a low output. When there's a difference between the two, we get a high output. So each time there's a difference between where the edges are of this clock signal, I get an output pulse. And then if we low pass filter that, we can kind of get something that's kind of a representative DC value that will go up or down depending on what the phase difference is. And the whole idea with the PLL is we're going to take that voltage that goes up or down with respect to phase difference and use that through the loop filter to drive the VCO. And the output of the VCO is the other input that goes to the phase detector. So at the end of the day, what this loop is trying to do is to maintain a fixed phase relationship between the output of the VCO and whatever input signal we're applying. And that's really what, very simply how a PLL works. Okay. So this one type of phase detector called a type 1, is pretty common, pretty simple to make. There's lots of ways of making a phase detector. You can actually use an RF mixer as a phase detector as well. Another common one that you find oftentimes in integrated circuits is what's called a type 2 phase detector. It's also known as a phase frequency detector, because unlike this guy here, which really can't detect a change or a difference in frequency, because you're essentially going to, this response is going to kind of be periodic up and down with frequency. A phase frequency detector can actually give you an output that will indicate whether you're too high or too low in frequency, as well as being early or late in phase. The type 2 phase detector can be thought of basically two operating states, if you will. The state where, say, input 1 is leading input 2, I get a positive output pulse. And the case where input 1 is lagging input 2, I get a negative output pulse. Again, if we filter that, the positive output pulse will increase the output of the loop filter, the negative will decrease it. If we feed this into like a charged pump type of filter, that could be the control voltage again for our VCO to nudge the VCO back and forth. I kind of like thinking of this type 2 phase detector as kind of like the curbs on the edge of a street, right? If your car drifts off to one side, you're going to bang into the curb, it knocks you into the middle of the road again. So this kind of a type 2 phase detector kind of bangs you into the middle of the road to kind of keep things lined up. It's kind of a way to think about it. So again, there's lots of different types of phase detectors out there. There's probably more variant phase detectors as there are VCOs maybe, but these are just two examples that you often find integrated into an integrated PLL device like a CD4046, for example. So what are some of the what are some of the applications here for a PLL? Well, one is for, like, think of it as an FM or frequency shift key demodulator, right? If I have my FM signal coming into the phase detector, and what we're trying to do is match phase of that with the loop, that means the control voltage here is going to be ramping up or down to match maybe the change in frequency of the input. Okay, so if we had a frequency modulated audio input, for example, then the control voltage going into the VCO is going to be that audio signal. So essentially demodulated the FM. If we have a frequency shift keying type of situation where we're varying the frequency, like a PSK31 type signal or something like that, we're varying the input frequency. Again, the output of the loop filter that's going to drive the VCO is going to represent that baseband or that data that is driving the FSK in the first place. So that's one simple example of how you might use a PLL. Probably the more common one that we'll run across in all of our amateur radio work is frequency synthesis. Inside most of the rigs these days are synthesized, meaning you don't have just a free running oscillator and a bunch of tuned circuits. We typically have a reference oscillator, okay, inside our rigs. Oftentimes it's a 10 megahertz reference oscillator, and all of the other frequencies that we need inside the radio to do up conversion and down conversion and things like that are derived from that reference oscillator. So the accuracy of that reference oscillator really determines the frequency accuracy of the rig, which is why oftentimes you set up one adjustment to align the radio at frequency. You're really just adjusting this one reference oscillator. So how do we create different frequencies from a single reference oscillator frequency? Well, again, we have a PLL. There's our normal PLL here. But what we're doing is inserting a couple of different frequency dividers. Okay, so let's say, for example, let's say both of these divide by 1. Right? It's almost like not having them there. Then obviously the output of the VCO, its frequency is going to be equal to the reference oscillator, because that's what will create the match condition at the phase detector. Well, let's say that this frequency divider here was still 1. So I've got the reference oscillator, say let's call it 10 megahertz, for example, going into the phase detector. Now let's say this divider here that's inside the loop is a divide by 2. In order for us to get a 10 megahertz output of this frequency divider, the output of the VCO would have to be at 20 megahertz, right? So by simply putting a divide by 2 here, now I've got a 20 megahertz output from the VCO that's locked to this 10 megahertz reference. So I was able to synthesize a new frequency, and the accuracy of that is basically dependent upon the reference oscillator accuracy. So obviously, if I divide by different values here, I can create different outputs of the VCO, all based on one single frequency and a fixed divider value. So if we extend that concept and say, well, let's for example say that this divider is not there, right? And but I've got a divider here. So if I would say this divider was a divide by 2. So I had a 10 megahertz reference oscillator. I divided that by 2. That means I've got 5 megahertz appearing here. Therefore, this PLL is going to drive the VCO to give me a 5 megahertz output there. So now I can get a VCO output that is something less than the reference oscillator. Whereas if this divider made it greater than, this divider makes it less than. So if I include both of those, I can synthesize different frequencies simply by adjusting the M and N values, those divider values, and my output frequency is just going to be equal to the reference frequency multiplied by m divided by n. And this is how, essentially how all of your synthesized radios are essentially tuned. When you're turning that dial and watching the numbers spin on your radio, what the radio is doing internally is adjusting a set of dividers inside of usually several PLLs, because we've got a multiple conversion stages. But this is how the frequency adjustments are being made, is simply by changing these dividers inside of usually an integrated synthesizer chip these days, but this is the basic concept of how it works. Now, of course, there's a lot of variants on this and things like that. This is just kind of a high level concept of this, but there's lots of other ways to extend this concept into additional ways to get finer and finer frequency tuning resolution and to get lower noise and things like that. But this is just a basic idea of how to apply this basic concept of a phase detector, loop filter, and VCO to synthesize different frequencies from a common reference oscillator. So that's all I had. Again, this is all comes from video number 60 on my channel. And I kind of go through the same illustrations that I have here in that video, but also, as with most of my videos, I've got some practical experiments actually showing you the operation of each of these circuits, on the oscilloscope and on the bench. So anyway, I'll pop off of there. And of course, if anybody wants a copy of these, this PDF file of these notes, again, shoot me an email at w2aew@arrl.net, and I'll email you out a PDF copy of those notes.
Well, that's great. I want to build something with a PLL now. I'm gonna have to pull some parts out of the closet here and throw together something, man.
There you go.
With all the other projects got going, I don't know when I'm going to find time to do it, but we're going to do it. Those are fun little projects to work with and see them, And appreciate it, Alan. Great segment on PLLs.
All right.
Well, very good. All right, let's see. Everybody just stand by. We'll be right back with you in 1 second here. Love is on the air at ICOM. The sweetheart of a package with the IC705 is a perfect sidekick for hams that like to enjoy what the great outdoors and indoors have to offer. It's a perfect QRP companion. Base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at just over 2 pounds with RF direct sampling for most of the HF bands and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz. Some of the features include a 4.3-inch touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall, 5 watts with the BP272 and 10 watts with 13.8 volts. Single sideband CW, AM, FM, as well as full D-Star functionality. Touchscreen display. Integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger. The speaker microphone comes standard and it supports QRP, QRPP operations. The perfect accessory for the IC705 is the now available optional backpack, the LC192. It's got a special compartment for the IC705 and room for all your accessories in a day in a park. It's got a lot of accessories such as the QRP portable magnetic antenna, standard battery pack, lithium-ion battery pack, compact lapel, PTT, Bluetooth and earphone, and much more. And the AH705 antenna tuner is coming soon. Check out our website for free software. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, and we are back again. Just a couple quick announcements again, real quick, to remind you guys, go to the Corinth Hamfest. There it is, 27th and 28th down in Corinth, Mississippi. I think you'll enjoy it. It's going to be a great Hamfest. So get down there and have some ham fun. It's time that the Ham Fest start opening back up. And let's see if you're. Oh, I forgot to tell everybody when we first came on. We need you to hit the subscribe button. If you are a viewer here and you haven't hit the subscribe button, that's a no-no. We know who you are. About 38% of our viewers right now have not hit the subscribe button. So hit the subscribe button right now. That helps us out in our rankings with YouTube. It helps us to get more and more viewers out there. So do that. If you're listening on shortwave, international shortwave on WBCQ 7490 kilohertz, this is Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's all about ham radio. And thanks for joining tonight. Let's see. I've got. Tell you what, Glenn. Before we get you on here, Glenn, I've got a little 2-minute fast sped up. Is that the word, or speeded up? I think it's sped up. I don't know. What is it, Katie? Is it sped or speeded?
Sped.
Sped.
It sounded like you said spit up. Like I was like
spit up. It's a spit up. Yeah, yeah. All right.
Like,
I've got a speeded up video. It's more better. It's more better.
Alan's just shaking his head like, oh my gosh.
You know, this will give a guy.
Here in Mississippi, so you're doing it right.
This will give you a little idea, you know, what we've been facing here, and particularly why we haven't had the net the last couple of weeks. One of my antenna poles, I'll call it a pole. I've got a 120-foot pole out there I had taken down, and I had a lot of my antennas going to it, and so I took it down and I moved them over to the next 120-foot pole. So this is just a quick video. It's a 2-minute. It's going to go fast, but it gives you an idea of what it takes to take down a 120-foot antenna pole at my house. So let me run it, and let's see. I think I've got it right here. You're gonna have to watch close because it's gonna go fast. Let's see. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let me stop it here. All right, there we go. So you can see these guys have the equipment. They know what they're doing. And this bucket here, it's actually a bucket right here. It goes up 83 feet. So you can see at the 83 feet, he's got quite a ways to go. But there he is. He's just he just walks around out there and crawls around on the trees and has a lot of fun out there. And these are some pretty big limbs he's taking down right there. Some of these limbs are almost 2 feet in diameter. It takes a crane to bring it down. You can see some of the damage that the house had when the first tree fell. So we're bringing it down piece by piece very safely. I think that limb right there is where I had my 40-meter delta loop connected. So he's going to go on up, and just they're going to top it out. You can see the massive size of these trees. It's just almost unbelievable.
I've never seen your trees without that many leaves.
Yeah, yeah. So you can see this guy. He has no fright at all. He's a pro. You know, he walks around on limbs up there, and he's a pro. So there's some shots at some very distances. I took this very small clips here, and I've sped it up, so it probably looks like it's pretty fast motion. But they have all the equipment. There's no way you can take that tree down without a 100-foot crane, and I mean just the pieces that they put on the ground. Some of those pieces weigh maybe 1,000 pounds. That piece right there coming down probably weighs close to 1,000 pounds right there. And there's no way a person can do it without having the right equipment to do it. That's a little heavy. He had to cut that one in half to get it picked up. He just couldn't make it there. You can see the trunk is still standing there. They're fixing to cut it and let it fall over. When it hit the ground, Kathy thought something hit the roof. The ground shook so much that the house shook again right there. Someone asked what it cost to take that tree down. That tree cost $4,300 to take down. $4,300. The one that came down the week before, it cost $3,000 to take it to cut it up and haul it off. So I've got about $7,000 invested in 2 trees right now that are missing. And here's the stump grinder. This is kind of a neat deal here. A lot of people leave the stump, and it's there for 50 years. So we had the stumps ground up too. So that's kind of what we have been dealing with our trees. This week I just got the antennas moved back over to the next tree back, and I've got ropes over limbs that are about 80 feet, I guess. So 80 feet's a good height right there. Okay, let's see. Well, Glenn, my friend in Belgium, Michelle, is wanting to know more about Arduino. He's doing a lot with Arduino right now. So why don't we run, you've got a little video you put together, and we'll run that right now. And it kind of gives the introduction to people on who you are, and it talks a little about Arduino. So I think it'd be a good segment here.
Yeah, I haven't done anything Arduino-wise, other than show off some of the toys in a long time.
Yeah. Let me bring it up here. All right, I think I've got it queued up. Let's see if I can bring it up here. All right, here we go. Are we running? Oh, wait, get it.
Technology consultant for cyber and the Mississippi Department of Education, where I work with over 70 Mississippi school districts to help them with their infrastructure and technology needs. I was first licensed as a ham in 1973, and I've got about 45-something years of experience in the computer and electronics field. I started out doing remote data acquisition, control, and telemetry systems, and then I got into turbojet engine research data acquisition systems, where I worked on projects such as the F-14, the F-15, the F-16, and the SR-71, along with a few others that I still can't talk about. I'm also the author of ARRL's Arduino for Ham Radio, more Arduino projects for ham radio, and high-speed multimedia for amateur radio books, along with multiple QST articles and product reviews. In my spare time, I also show purebred Maine Coon cats. I had the 15th best of all cats in the world and the best Maine Coon female in the world in 1989, and that included winning a Best in Show at Madison Square Garden, which is the Cat World version of the Westminster Dog Show. My current pair are litter sisters, and they're also world champions and still being shown on a regular basis. They double as my editorial assistants, parts thieves, project build supervisors, and general nuisances. Now, when it comes to helping me with editorial work, they often say that they need to sleep on it, and that only slows things down. While they do have fancy registered names, they're nicknamed Godzilla and Rodan, and you'll see that's for obvious reasons. I think one of the reasons I enjoy the Maine Coon cat is they come basically as kits, and I enjoy working with kits. They come from the factory like this, and you add food and water, and you get this. Godzilla is 22 pounds, 3 feet, 4 inches long, and Rodan, believe it or not, is actually the smaller of the two, but she's got a 5 foot 9 inch vertical leap, which means nothing on the shelves or workbench are safe from her. And that being said, welcome to the Arduino. I often say that with the Arduino, it's more of an adventure than anything else. It can be a lot of fun for everyone, both young and old alike. When it comes to the Arduino, you're only limited by your imagination, as long as it doesn't violate the laws of physics. Now, if your project does appear to violate the laws of physics, it's possible you just need more voltage, bigger hammer, some explosives, maybe a combination of the three. but I think you'll be amazed at the versatility and ease of use of the Arduino. So what is this Arduino? It was created at the Interaction Design Institute of Rea in northern Italy back in 2005. It's a credit card-sized open source microcontroller that's based on inexpensive and easy-to-use hardware and software. It was designed to be an inexpensive microcontroller platform to be used by the students there to replace the more expensive and less powerful Parallax Basic stamp that they were using at the time. It was created for a non-technical audience of artists, designers, and other students in the creative arts field. Now, this is important. It was not created for engineers and technicians. It was created for artists, designers, filmmakers, creative arts folks. So you know it was designed with simplicity of use and easiness in mind. So why choose the Arduino? Well, it's one of the hottest trends in do-it-yourself electronics. With its ability to sense and control just about anything, it's ideally suited for homebrew electronic projects. And the best part, a lot of this cool stuff is low cost and even free. The development software is free. The add-on library software is free. The PC board design, if you wanted to fabricate your own boards, is free. But you don't need to do that. You can buy pre-built boards, the shields, the sensors, the modules, the parts that would use in your projects. They're all low cost. And so it doesn't take a huge investment to get started with the Arduino. And it's easy to program. Using the free Arduino Integrated Development Environment, also known as the IDE, using your PC, Mac, or Linux workstation, you actually use that to upload and create the code that you use on your Arduino projects. And these Arduino boards cost maybe $3.50 online, and quite often you can get them with free shipping. Your basic Arduino is the Arduino Uno. This is also the most common Arduino board. It's an Atmel 18 Mega 328, 8-bit 16 megahertz CPU. It's got 32K of flash memory, 2K of RAM, and 1K of electrically erasable EEPROM. It's got 14 digital I/O pins, and 6 of those pins can be used for pulse width modulation. Then it also has 6 analog input pins with a 10-bit analog to digital converter. And these analog pins can also be used for digital I/O for those projects that may need just a few more I/O pins than normal. It's powered by a 7 to 20 volt DC power connector on the board, or you can use the board's onboard USB port. You can get higher powered Arduinos that are now up to 600 megahertz and 32 bits, and many of these are based on the ARM Cortex CPU series. All of these are seamlessly supported by the Arduino IDE, and the cool thing about the IDE is you can create a program for one type of Arduino, and with the change of a menu option, recompile it and use that same program on another CPU type without having to change a single line of code, which just shows you how versatile the Arduino itself is. Here are some of the other Arduino boards. You've got the Arduino Nano, which is basically the size of 2 postage stamps, but still has the same functionality as the Uno. You've got the powerful Teensy 4.1. This is a 600 megahertz 32-bit CPU, and it's got 8 meg of flash memory, 55 I/O pins, 18 analog input pins. It even has an SD memory card slot and a 10100 Ethernet port all on the board. You've got the Sci5, which is a 320 megahertz 32-bit CPU. Then if you want to go small, you've got the SparkFun MicroView. This takes an organic LED graphic display and mounts it on top of an Arduino Uno. And then that assembly mounts on top of a little piggyback board that you plug into your workstation's USB port to program, and then you detach it, and you've got a 3/4 by 3/4 inch Arduino that has an onboard graphic display. You've got the wearable LilyPad Snap, and it also comes with a lithium battery that's also on snaps. And what you do is you use this for your wearable Arduino projects. You take and sew snaps into the clothing with conductive wiring, etc., or conductive thread, and then you actually snap the Arduino and the battery into that snap, and then you can remove them if you need to wash the clothing, etc. Then you've also got the Arduino Mega. This is one of the original Arduinos. It's also 8 bits and 16 megahertz, but it's got 54 I/O pins for those really big Arduino projects you may have in mind. Many of these Arduino boards come with a standard footprint that's got expansion connectors around the edge of the boards. This allows the use of stackable add-on boards, and these are known as shields. These shields can be used to quickly and easily add devices and functionality, such as displays, GPS, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, voice recognition, relay drivers, all kinds of extra devices. You can even use the ham shield that's shown here, 2 meter, 220, and 70 centimeter FM transceiver, just by mounting it on top of an Uno board. Many of these come with pre-written drivers that in the Arduino world are known as libraries, and they also come with example code that you can incorporate into your own Arduino projects. The Arduino also supports several industry standard I/O buses and protocols. This allows it to directly interface with literally hundreds of other devices and modules. These modules include direct digital frequency synthesis, LCD displays, LED displays, TFT and touchscreen displays, GPS, text-to-speech, lightning detection, and all manner of modules and devices. And the same as with shields, most of these modules and devices have pre-written libraries and example code that can help you get you started on your own projects. Here are some of the other modules. There's your Ethernet module, a text-to-speech module, the lightning detection module, your color TFT and touchscreen displays. These go all the way from 1.8 inches all the way up to 7 inches, and they're even making them bigger than that now. You've got your GPS, and you also have a Bluetooth module. So now you can take your Arduino project and communicate with it using your smartphone through the Bluetooth module on your Arduino project. And of course, the Arduino and its many variants are all programmed using the free Arduino integrated development environment. The IDE runs on a PC, Mac, or a Linux workstation, and this is used to create, edit, upload, and debug your Arduino programs, which are known as sketches in the Arduino world. Remember, this came from a creative arts background, so they're called sketches instead of programs. The IDE communicates with the Arduino via its onboard USB port. Once uploaded, the sketches run completely standalone from the Arduino's semi-permanent flash memory. Now you can rewrite this flash memory, 100,000 times or so, but it retains the last program that you uploaded to it, so that makes it a semi-permanent memory, and that's where all of your sketches run from. These sketches are written in a simplified, easy-to-learn variant of C++, and that's based on the processing and wiring open source projects. Libraries are simply pre-written module and device drivers, and these quickly and easily add functionality to your sketches. A number of these libraries are already built into the IDE. You can go online and download additional libraries, and these are also easily integrated into your IDE. This is the power of the Arduino's open source model. An entire online community is developing and freely sharing their code and their libraries, saving you the time and trouble of having to write them yourself. And most of these libraries include example code, so you can often directly cut and paste that directly into your own Arduino projects. The Arduino and its now many variants, they're a group of very versatile, inexpensive, and easy-to-use microcontrollers. Because of this, the Arduino family has rapidly become the development tool of choice for both makers and hams alike. Its versatility allows it to be used for simple children's projects, complex robotic and other maker projects, and of course a wide range of ham radio applications. Many of your 3D printers and your flying drones that have autopilots are powered by an Arduino. The Tentec Rebel and Patriot, the BitX40, and the MicroBitX are all Arduino-powered transceivers. Of course, now the Arduino also has VHF and UHF capability with the Hobby PCB RS-UV3 and the ham shield that we saw earlier. But the Arduino also has a serious side. Using an Arduino, a group of doctors and hams helped create an open-source, low-cost COVID-19 patient ventilator that's currently being evaluated for FDA approval and patient use. So the Arduino truly is for everyone. It can be used for children's projects such as the Firefly Jar and other simple to build projects. And it's ideal for hobby projects such as drone autopilots, model railroading control, and of course wearable electronics that you often see at science fiction conventions. And of course, the Arduino is for hams. We hams love to tinker and build things. The Arduino is that perfect tool for those electronic projects that are always thinking up and wanting to build. For example, my very first Arduino project was a CW keyboard. The project took longer to interface the keyboard and the components than it did to do the actual coding. From start to finish, that project took about 2 weeks to build and maybe another 2 weeks to add features and package it into a functional project. I now use that for CW activities such as Field Day and QSO Party contests and any other place where I want to use CW. Because my CW receiving is just about as bad as my sending, I quickly followed that up with a CW decoder. Now, here's what I'm talking about. I took a foldable roll-up keyboard and interfaced it to the Arduino, power the whole thing by batteries, and now I've got a portable CW keyboard that I can take anywhere with me, and it's even weatherproof. So you too can build some cool toys with the Arduino. It's ideally suited for ham radio. You can interface older antenna rotators, control them with Ham Radio Deluxe and other controller software. Build your own electronic memory keyer. Build a GPS-based UTC time and grid square display. Think about a rover in a VHF contest. Mine has a speech module on it, so now you don't have to take off your eyes off of the road and can still figure out what the time and grid square is for your logging. You can build a digital VFO and displays that's highly accurate, so you don't have the drift that's inherent in a lot of those older rigs. So this is great for modernizing those rigs. You can get the lightning detector, and this will automatically disconnect your antennas if it detects lightning in the area, and then maybe reconnect your antennas once the storm has passed. And you can do this with virtually any application where you need to sense and control things. And of course, building stuff with the Arduino is easy. A lot of times these projects only need a handful of wires and parts. And you don't have to be a genius to be able to follow a schematic diagram that's used with the Arduino. The form of schematics most often used with the Arduino is known as a Fritzing diagram. And it was created using the free Fritzing program. And as you can see, this is nothing more than a simplified version of a schematic. This shows an actual physical representation of the wires, but there are also tabs within the Fritzing program, so you can select and see the actual schematic program and the actual circuit board layout if you ever wanted to have those boards manufactured for you. So what can you build? I always say the better question to ask is what can't you build? The Arduino is designed to sense and control things. It's easy to program. This makes it ideally suited for all kinds of ham radio projects, robotics, and home automation. Building these Arduino-powered projects is easy. Using the IDE and the add-on libraries, the actual program often takes less time than it does to wire everything up. So here are some of the things you can build. Look around your ham shack. Think about what you'd like to automate, what you'd like to think would be cool to have around the shack. The most dangerous words that you can ever hear me say are, wouldn't it be cool if? If you ever hear me say those words, run. Don't walk, run, because you're about to see some serious stuff happen. We get crazy. Those simple words at a ham breakfast meeting led to the creation of a lightning detector. This can detect lightning up to 40 kilometers away. That's 24.8 miles. It can tell me how far away the lightning is and how strong it is. And you can use this to disconnect your antennas and all sorts of things. And it only costs about $40 to build. You can modernize your antenna rotator. If you've got one of the older CDE rotors, such as the Ham2, the Ham3, the Ham-M, or the older Yaesu rotors like the G450, the G800, the G1000, you can add computer control to those very inexpensively, and we're talking like $20 to $30. Then maybe you can add a voice recognition to it, and now you've got Siri for ham radio, and now you can tell your antennas to rotate with your voice. Or maybe you can build an Arduino-powered 40-meter CW transceiver. This one has a 1.8-inch TFT color display. It's got dual-speed tuning, dual range RIT, a 5 to 35 word per minute iambic keyer built in, and it's all built inside a baseball trophy display case. Now, the cool thing about this is it uses one of those QRP Pixie boards that you can get online for about 10 or 12 bucks. And those boards are based on the original NorCal QRP 49er that was designed by Wayne Burdick, N6KR of Elecraft. So basically, you can create your own version of an original Elecraft transceiver using an Arduino. Some of your other Arduino-powered transceivers, you've got the MicroBitX. This is an 80 to 10 meter CW and sideband transceiver that comes as a semi-kit from hfsignals.com. And the same as with its predecessor, the BitX40, the main board is already assembled for you. All you have to do is wire up the external parts, such as the tuning encoder, the volume control, and things of that nature. It comes with the Arduino module, which is powered by an Arduino Nano that's been paired with an SI5351 DDS module. It also includes a 16-character by 2-line LCD display. Now, this display has recently been upgraded to a 2.8-inch 320 by 240 pixel color touchscreen display, and that whole unit is $199. And this does 10 watts on CW and sideband. And of course, you can modify it. You can modify this MicroBitX to your heart's content. There are already a number of mods online and available for the MicroBitX, including that next-gen color touchscreen display that's now standard on the version 6 of the MicroBitX. And thanks to the world of open source, all of this modification information, the designs, the software, everything is available online for free. And there's even user groups out there that can help you make these mods. So now you can make your own inexpensive MicroBitX kit look and have functionality similar to the much more expensive commercial units. And now recently, hams have begun experimenting with high-altitude balloons that are carrying Arduino-powered telemetry units and ham radio transmitters. These balloons fly at over 40,000 feet, circumnavigate the world several times, and are tracked via APRS and Whisper using nothing more than a little 10 milliwatt level transmitter. And of course, for those of us old school folks, just for fun, remember that original Altair 8800? Well, they've recreated a fully functional version of it using an Arduino, and they're selling it as a kit. And I have got to get me one of those, but right now they're back ordered. So the possibilities are endless. I often say that when it comes to the Arduino and ham radio, you're really only limited by your imagination. With its open source approach, there is a vast online community to draw on for ideas and support. You've got new CPUs, modules, and shields that are being developed every day that's adding to the versatility and function of this powerful project. Don't be fooled by the price. The Arduino is powerful, it's versatile, and it's easy to work with. And ARRL has published 2 of my Arduino books, with a third one's in development. Between these 2 books, there are 34 ham radio-related Arduino projects that you can build and get some other ideas to build your own projects. The third book is planned to add about 12 more projects, and that's a little deceptive because a lot of these contain 2 and 3 projects to build within each project chapter. So you're looking more like 18 to 20 buildable projects within that book. Hopefully it'll be out around spring of 2021. And of course, all of these projects are easy to build and use inexpensive parts. So here we are at Journey's End. All of you are builders, thinkers, creators, and inventors. You're a perfect match for the Arduino. The Arduino is an inexpensive yet powerful platform that you can use to create those projects you've always imagined, but you thought they were too difficult to build or code. Imagine the projects that you can build with the Arduino and then go make them happen. So now it's time for you to begin your own Arduino adventure, and above all, have fun. Ham radio is supposed to be fun. The Arduino is supposed to be fun. So let's use the 2 together and have some serious fun. Thank you.
All right, Glenn. Well, hey, that was a good description of what you can do with Arduino there. And the neat thing is, many of these projects have already been built, and it's open source, it's freeware. You can just download it and install it, and you got it, right?
Yeah, pretty much. In that Altair 8800 kit I was talking about, I did manage to get it. It's waiting to be built, and it uses the Arduino Do processor. and we'll actually emulate a full up Altair 8800.
You know, I built several of those back when I first got with you when you started writing that first book, and I built the CW keyboard. That's kind of neat. You can just set the speed whatever you want and type, and it just sends perfect CW out there. And I built, you've got a CW decoder also, which is a little more complex. I built it, but also I built one, and it only had like 3 parts in it.
Yeah,
it had
I
like
remember
a
that one.
capacitor and a resistor and the Arduino board, and that thing would decode Morse code. So it doesn't take much. It's really powerful.
Yeah. You know, that's just with the little Uno and the Nano style. Some of the later model ones have really got some horsepower to them.
And I guess the ones now that you can add the little micro SD card, you can really have a lot of memory on there, right? You can.
Yes.
I mean.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've got up to, megs of memory now on some of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, you can write some pretty massive programming at that point.
Yeah. Well, I've seen your lightning detector and some of your other projects, and they're really neat. And, if you're out there and you want to play around with Arduino, there's so many projects out there that you can duplicate. A lot of ham radio projects are out there. Just pick one and try it. I think you'll like it. All right. Well, very good, Glenn. Hey, thanks so much for that, man. Let's see.
No problem.
We're going to move on here, and we're going to bring Bill in here in just a second, and we're going to talk about some of the balloon things going on this coming week. And I think Bill's got a recovery story. But I wanted to give you an update on W5KUB26. A lot of things have changed over the last few weeks. We've been keeping a balloon in the air for about the last 14 months, just almost constant. And, our best flight's been 3.5 times around the world and 72 days. We'd like to try to do better than that. We've done some other flights that did maybe 1.5 times around, but the 3.5 times is our best flight. So it was starting to get a little boring just launching the same thing and watching it. So we want to do something different. So on this particular flight, and our last flight we experimented with and we tried to build a homemade balloon, but at 37,000 feet, when it hit super pressure, it just ripped the seams apart. Our hot seals just did not hold. It's very difficult. And I've talked to several people that have known many people that have tried to construct a homemade balloon, and I think probably 99% of all those have been failures. Now, we're not giving up yet. We're not giving up. We're going to, we've got some new material coming in Thursday for a balloon. We've got our tracker ready to go. And we've got some new material. We're not going to have to seal it down the sides. This material is a tubular material. And it comes in a roll like a 1/4 mile long. And it's tubular. And so it keeps us from having to do a seal down the entire balloon. So what we'll have to do is we're going to have to get our piece, a 15-foot piece of the tubular material. And we'll have to just seal both ends. And it's been tested. It's been tested on the sealing technique. It's been water tested and pounds per square inch and all that stuff I don't know about. But it's held up for like months and months and months. So I think they have a procedure down for sealing the ends. It's going to be a heavy balloon. It's going to weigh about 4 times what the SBS weighs. But this one that we're going to fly also will hold about 4 times the volume of an SBS. So this means we're probably going to empty an entire hydrogen tank into one balloon. So that could get a little expensive. But we're going to try to fly it. The thickness is 1.5 mils on this balloon that we're going to fly. Now, within a few weeks, we're supposed to be getting a lighter material, 1 mil, a 1 mil material that's in a tubular form, the same way, but much wider. It's going to have a circumference of about 120 inches in circumference. So it gives you a lot more cubic meters inside. So the way it was described to me, the SBS balloons we've been flying are kind of like Ferraris. They're fast, high-end, sleek balloon. And this balloon, since it's heavy and it's going to require so much more, it's more like a deuce and a half, or a 2,000-pound truck, but it can carry a lot more weight. It can carry at least 4 times the weight of the SBS balloon. Now, we're not too concerned about the weight right now because we're going to be flying about a 15-gram tracker with it. So, as I mentioned earlier, we wanted to just try to do something different on our flights coming up. So, I have been trying to put together a little 100 milliwatt PA or amplifier for the balloon. Well, on this flight, we're going to be flying a 100 milliwatt transmitter, and our 10 milliwatt transmitter is heard pretty well as far away as 9,000 miles away, and I just want to see what a 100 milliwatt transmitter would do at 45,000 feet. I think we're going to light the world up. Typically, when I put the 10 milliwatt tracker outside at ground level, really no one picks it up. There's just not enough signal. Today, I put the 100 milliwatt out there at ground level with just a piece of wire standing up, and we were getting reports all across the United States, and even some reports from Europe. So we're going to be flying the experimental balloon with a 100 milliwatt transmitter on it. And so we're going to have, we hope it stays up. This is actually a beta test. The people providing me with this, and we'll talk more about the people later and the source, and there's a lot of other things coming that's going to help us here. But this is a beta, a test. We're going to be the first people to try to fly this material. So it's going to be interesting to see. I hope it stays up for days. I hope it stays up for weeks, just because we're also, checking out our 100 milliwatt transmitter up there. But this is going to be fun, I think, to do. So the balloon material will be in here Thursday by UPS, and probably going to take a few days or a week to get ready, before we do a launch. And also, we've got to watch the weather. We got bad weather coming in over the next few days anyway, so we've got to really pick our launch day very carefully here. So that's kind of where we are with number 26. You'll see it reporting on Whisper. If you go to Whisper right now, you'll see it reporting on APRS right now. And right now it's sitting on my workbench, transmitting right now on the workbench. And today it's been sitting outside in the front yard there. So that's our status on that. Bill Brown, come on in, Bill, and mention again what's going on this coming week about the launches. And also, I think you had a recovery story you wanted to talk about. Come on in here, Bill.
Yeah, let me share my screen here and see if I can show you some of these slides. So here we go. And I'll talk about our big group launch that we're planning over the weekend coming up for the spring equinox. So hopefully that'll come through here in a minute. Can you see that first slide, Tom?
I can. Are you going to make it larger, or are you going to make it full screen, or what?
I will in a second.
Yeah,
it hasn't caught up yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah, either if you can make it full screen, that's great.
It's full screen. It'll take.
Okay. If necessary, I can adjust it on this end, but let's see what you can do first.
Yeah, put it into presentation mode there, Bill.
Have you clicked the
I did. It's just taking time.
Okay. Okay, that's not bad. Okay.
All right. So this was a W2RY-11. It was launched by the SSRA group in Pasco, Kennewick, Washington. This is the Reach Science Museum.
Where'd you go, Bill? You there? Bill? We lost
I
Bill.
didn't do it.
We lost Bill. All right. So
Glenn did it. It's Glenn's fault.
It's Glenn's fault.
Cat did it.
All right. So
Cat
wait,
did it.
what Glenn? Hey, yeah, Glenn's fault. Bill's
here he
gone.
is. Here he comes.
We'll just talk with Katie a while. So Katie,
Yeah.
are you guys going to put together a maybe a satellite deal for us? Just maybe a little short 3 or 4 minute deal next time.
Probably. Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, just pick up some, film some contacts, because those contacts, man, they're quick. They're like 3 or 4 or 5 seconds, then you go to the next person, and man, they're bang bang just fast like that,
Now that he's figuring out, but all
let's
right,
see.
Bill's back.
Let's see.
There he
Looks
is.
like Bill's back. All right, Bill. I see you're back. We need to go to full screen again if we can.
And come off of mute.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Slow internet. I'm trying to get
would
it to
think.
work here.
You think a guy that works at NASA could get a better connection?
Hey, he's in Alabama.
I'm waiting for
He's in
Starlink.
Information Dirt Road.
That's pretty much it.
All right, you say you're going to get on Starlink?
When it's available,
Yeah.
I'm going to get right on it.
Well, I guess it's good. I think it's going to run about $100 a month, isn't it?
Yeah, I ran out of my minutes over the weekend. I was in the QSO Ham Radio Expo, and I ran out of my 30 gig unlimited Wi-Fi on Verizon, and what they do is they throttle you down to unusable speeds after that. It's unlimited, but you
Yeah.
can't use it.
Yeah.
Oh, and it hasn't reset yet today. I'm going to try it. Maybe it's reset by now. So let me get out of this. I'll stop the share, and I'm going to switch my providers.
Okay.
He can switch providers. Can we do this?
Yeah, man. I've always wanted to put up a backup network in here, but there's just nothing else out there available with the speeds,
No, not here. I've got like one provider to choose from.
Yeah. So Katie, while he's doing that, tell us again about the prizes. You say we're going to do them for 4 weeks?
Yep, we're going to do for 4 weeks, and
And
hold
they'll
on,
be
I'm going to reach
U.S.
behind me.
They'll be U.S. only. Let's see one again.
This was the very first one that Joe made.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not sure he does all the woodworking on it. And so it'd be your call sign and name.
Mm-hmm.
The font's changed a little bit, but let me see if I still have any battery left in here. He does it a little differently now, but so this one
Yeah.
lights up
Oh, yeah.
like that. Oops, there we go. And then the newest version, he has different color in there. And I think Dwayne's is plugged into the wall,
Well,
so
that's
I
okay.
can't.
That's okay. Well, that'd be great. We'll have a lot of fun doing that. And we thank him for helping us out like that.
Yeah, absolutely. He's excited, and just he's in the process of making about 100 coasters for a local real estate agent right now, and all of the weeding and cleaning out all the pieces and parts. But just getting the business rolling, and we said, hey, we know, I bet some people might be interested. Why don't you give away some of your plaques?
All right. Well, Bill, how you doing there, Bill? Is Bill there, or is he gone?
He's there.
Bill.
Looks like he's frozen.
Let me see.
He's contemplating life.
Let's see.
Contemplating life, the universe, and everything.
Bill's a black screen. There he is. There he is.
Oh, there he is. He's smiling.
Yeah. What do you think, Bill? Is it going to work or not? You may just have to walk us through this.
I'm now on AT&T. I've gone to my third provider.
Yeah. No,
And
they must be.
bandwidth
They must be pretty weak because when you talk, it doesn't switch to you. I see Katie.
Going out the door.
Why is it not switching to Bill? Say something, Glenn. Hey, Glenn or Alan.
Yeah, I'm here.
There you go. See, it's switching when they talk. Now, okay, Bill. Let's try it on you again. Maybe you got to talk louder. That's what it is.
It looks like he left his chair.
Did he leave? Did Bill? No, he's still there.
He said something about going outside the door.
Well, I don't know. We're going to get Glenn some. We're going to get Bill some good internet service here one of these days.
I was going to say, for somebody who works for NASA, you'd think you'd have real internet.
Yeah, you would think so. You know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe they're.
You would think. I'll have to connect to the TDRS.
Connect to the what?
I'll have to connect to TDRS directly.
Okay, I don't know.
The TDRS satellite, the NASA satellite directly. I'll have to try and do that.
Okay.
I mean, you
Still
could
says
probably,
my network bandwidth is low.
Yeah.
you could probably drive a USB drive over to Tom's and back by the time you can get this done.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. How about dial-up, man? Have you got dial-up there? Maybe you can do 33K.
Well, that dial-up is about the speed I'm at right now. This is dial-up speed.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Hey, that's cool. I forgot those noises that used to make. You
Remember how excited it used to be when you hear that? You've got mail. We're like, woohoo!
I tell you guys, when I started in the business, of course I'm retired now, I was working at baud rates of like 45 baud. I mean, 100 baud. I mean, I'm talking slow stuff back then, man. And I remember when we got 33K, man, that was speeding fast, and then 56K, wow, and then now I've got like 250 megs down,
I was the first kid on my block that had one of those acoustic ones where you laid the handset into at 110 baud. I was king of the hill.
Oh yeah. All right, Bill.
Well, let's try this.
All right.
So W2RY-11 was launched from Washington State a few days ago from the Reach Science Museum there, and it flew in this very curvy path around the United States. It did a big loop-de-loop over Salt Lake City and into Wyoming and curved down to Albuquerque, and then it was flying nicely until it hit Illinois. And then it hit that big storm system yesterday and started on its way down. Now, this is flying in SBS 13 and an APRS Sky Tracker. So I did a landing site prediction based on the descent, and the little green dot shows what my prediction was. The red star is where it actually landed, just a few hundred feet to the east of the prediction there, and the platform landed in Illinois. So this is I'll show you a close-up of the actual intersection where it landed. Mark KA9SZX went out after it. It's about 60 or 70 miles southeast of his location. Mark has been chasing balloons for 30 years or more and is really good at it, and he's particularly good at finding these little pico balloons.
Hey, I got a question for you. How come it lands in a clear, open place right on the road, and mine lands in a swamp where you got alligators? I don't understand.
Good living. So there it was. He drove around until he went to my predicted landing zone. He heard a really strong, it pegged his S meter on his radio, and he looked up, and there was the balloon just laying out right next to the road with the sky tracker. You can just barely see the sky tracker right above the balloon there, snagged onto a corn stalk. And on the right is the close-up view of the sky tracker he pulled out of the field. But it was right off the road. He had his mud boots ready.
So are you talking about, is this KA9 SZX?
Am I what?
Who?
Yes, KA9, Mark, KA9
Okay.
SZX.
Yeah, he's in the
went
chat
out and
room.
recovered it.
He
lives in Macomb, Illinois.
Yeah, he's in the chat room right now. He said when he picked up that balloon, it had failed in the lower portion. Yeah, he's in the chat.
Yeah, the balloon had burst right in the bottom part of the balloon.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, all the members of the club signed the solar panels before they took off. I watched them do this a few days ago on their launch video, and they're all, after flying for 3 days and sitting in a huge thunderstorm during the day yesterday when it landed, everything looks good.
All right. Well, that's
And so this weekend, it's called the Equinox balloon launch, and there's going to be 18 Pico balloons launched worldwide. And if you go to Facebook and you type in Equinox balloon launch, it should take you to the online events. Or you can go to Silas Education on Facebook, and they'll have a link to it. SILAS Education. So be looking this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday. There'll be balloons popping up all over the world and the United States. So we're going to cover the world with Pico balloons.
Well, that's all right. That's good.
I had to stick my iPhone outside on the porch to get a good signal.
Yeah. Are you using it like a hotspot? You got your phone outside, and I guess you're using Wi-Fi.
My Verizon MiFi that I usually use that has high-speed internet ran out of minutes this weekend, and it doesn't reset until midnight tonight. So I'm using my hotspot on my other iPhone.
All right. Well, that's an interesting story there. We've heard several recovery stories from you in the past. We've had one or two of ours recovered, not too many. But most of ours go down either in the swamp with alligators, the ocean, or the Sahara Desert, or maybe China Desert out there. So I don't know. But it's been a lot of fun.
They don't get much better than this one.
Yeah.
Mark had his boots ready to go out in the muddy field and wade into knee-deep mud, but he didn't even have to take the boots out of the car for this one.
Well, that's good. Actually, our launch site, it can be wet sometimes, and we wear pretty good boots when we go out here to launch, but boots come in handy sometime. All right. Well, Bill, what do you think about our 100 milliwatt transmitter? Are we going to see any difference on reception, you think, or is it just going to be kind of like the previous flights? What do you think?
You'll see. You'll see probably a 10 dB difference.
I mean, we're going to see more and more people pick it up.
Am I right,
maybe,
Alan?
You think?
I guess. I know you said you had some difficulty. Getting the transmitter working.
Yeah.
Did you do some testing of that transmitter at cold temperatures to be sure the bias doesn't change?
No, we only do those temperature testings at altitude.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully this thing will work at 100 milliamp.
The thing is, I mean, hey, we did some battery testing and stuff at minus 40 and so forth with dry ice, but no, I haven't tested this.
Yeah, especially if it's a simple single or two transistor amplifier, the bias can change pretty significantly when you go from room temperature to minus 40 or minus 60.
We're going to see how it goes. It may transmit on Iran's National Guard frequency. I have no idea, when we go over, but we've been, most of the things that we've done, I haven't noticed really any real major differences. Maybe there's been a lot of research put into some of these trackers. I know the little tracker we built, there's probably no research put into it really, and it seems to function just fine at those temperatures. So the specifications on the parts show they should go down. That's about the max they're going to go down to as far as temperature. I don't know, we're just going to try it and see if it doesn't work right. This is just a single MOSFET, and it's got a few resistors and to bias it, and some coupling capacitor in and a coupling capacitor out. I did wind a filter for the output to bring that second third harmonic down, and on the spectrum analyzer, it's showing the second, third harmonic down about 30 dB. So I'm happy with that. Without the filter, it's up there almost like the fundamental frequency, man. It's loud. So, and that was wound on a typical plastic straw, a little 1/4-inch form with some magnet wire, and even wound the RF choke. It feeds the drain of the MOSFET. So, put it all together, dead bug style. Slap some glue on it, stuck it to the board, and hooked up the input and the output and the voltage, and we're going to see what happens. Who knows? It might take the TV station off the frequency when it goes over New Jersey up here, man. I guess.
I'm just more thinking that the temperature goes down, the threshold voltage of the MOSFET goes up, and that might just depending on how the circuit's biased, it might either thermally run away or shut down.
Well, it might. Okay, you got me thinking. Okay, all right, maybe I need to throw it in the freezer tomorrow. I can do that. I can get it pretty cold, I guess.
Throw it in with some dry ice.
Yeah. Just spray the MOSFET with some freeze spray. See what it does.
I got that. I got some Freon. Yeah, I'll do that. While we're transmitting, while I see it transmitting over here, I'll look at it on the analyzer, and I'll just hit it with some Freon. That should get it pretty cold.
Yeah, like I said, it's really just going to be a change in output power. It's not going to change the frequency because that's driven by the rest of the tracker, but it's just going to change whether or not it's how much it's amplifying.
Well, the bad part, and there is a bad part to this, is if we get the thing up there and it gets up to 40,000 feet, and it just stops working, and the balloon continues for like the next 3 years, but the transmitter stops working. That would be bad. So I guess I do need to probably check that. Yeah. All right. Hey, let me just make a quick announcement here since we have radio listeners out there. If you're listening on shortwave, WBCQ on 7490, this show is all about ham radio, amateur radio. We got a great team here spread across the country, and we talk about all different aspects of ham radio. We'd love to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. Let us know where you are in the world. Give us a signal report of a shortwave reception there. Also, take this moment right now to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching the video out there, please hit the subscribe button because that helps us tremendously on our channel. And our channel is growing, but only because you guys are hitting the subscribe button. Thank you for that. Well, what else we want to talk about tonight? Anybody got any in the last few minutes of the show here? Anybody got anything you want to bring up? Hey, let's talk a minute about the special event again. Special event station, the KA6LMS. It's going to be Wednesday the 24th through the Saturday the 27th. You can go to their site, their website, and just do a search for KA6LMS, and it'll take you to their website. And we'll be operating as KA6LMS/4. Katie, are you guys going to be operating some as /7?
Yeah, I think we're gonna sneak on for a little bit and do that also. We've got a ham club meeting that after Saturday the 27th, but maybe in the evenings, and otherwise try to get on for a little bit of time here and there and try to stir up the pot a little bit and maybe run a couple pile-ups. I haven't done that in a while. I got to get my chops back.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try. We probably
I believe the amateur television.
We probably won't spend a lot of time there.
The amateur television.
Oh, what was that, Bill?
Yeah, the amateur television network in California may be actually sending video from some of the special event stations that you can watch online as they're going to try and video some of the actual event stations live on streaming video.
Yeah, and there will be several other people that actually probably stream various events of the KA6LMS, and we'll probably bring up this channel. We'll probably stream while we're making contacts. If people want to just, that might bring up some awareness from the YouTube channel and just see the fun we're having. I think Glen Popiel said he might come up here now, and he might help and participate in a special event from our QTH here.
Yeah, you're going to need a logger or something.
Yeah, and that's what I'm worried about. I typically don't use any software for log, and I'm going to have to do something because I'm going to need to provide this information to them, once it's over.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, you can log a while, I'll log a while. You can make contacts, I'll make contacts, and,
yeah, I'll bring my foot pedal, and we can have all sorts of fun.
I've got a foot pedal. I got a foot pedal there, so, we'll see how it goes.
It does. Go ahead, Glenn.
Go.
I was going to say, do you have 3 foot pedals?
I've got 4 foot pedals down there.
Okay. Then you've got me outdone because
I've got 4 foot. I got a foot switch on every radio over there. Of course, they're not all. I mainly only use one now, but they're there.
I mean, when I'm in a contest, I actually have 3 foot pedals that I use. Play it like a piano.
Oh, one for transmit, one for receive, one for standby.
One for transmit and one for voice memory 1 and the other for voice memory 2.
Oh, okay. We're not going to do any voice.
I can sit there and have a drink while it's making contacts for me.
Well, we're not going to do any voice memory. If my voice gets tired, you're taking over, man. What about you, Katie? How are you guys going to operate?
We'll probably just take turns. Usually, if Dwayne's running, I'll log for him, and then if I'm running, I'll still log for myself, but he'll help me pull out call signs because I'm just faster with typing and hearing. But a lot of times I'll hear something that he doesn't when he's running, and vice versa. So we just team up and do it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always good to do it that way.
Yeah. Well, and it helps, especially like you said, when you're running a pile up, and we've run some serious pile ups here. It's, I tried doing some live streaming of it before, but usually when it gets so bad that it just sounds like a beehive, I have to wear headphones because, I need to be able to pick out something out of the mix. And sometimes it's like, depends on the time of the day. Well, I hear a 9 out there, and you can pretty much guarantee in the middle of the day, there's going to be a 9 out there.
Well, you know what happened? It was the North Dakota QSO party, and here I am with 5 watts trying to get on a pile up. And
hey, I bet it worked.
He did me a favor. He went through all of the call areas and asked, "Is there a 9?" And he worked all the 9s. "Is there an 8?" And he worked all the 8s. And there was like 2 5s. So I had
right.
I made it.
There you go. And, it's some people just get all bent about the, running by numbers. But sometimes that's really, it's your pile up, so you run it the way you want, but sometimes that's the best way you can grab some people. And I try to remember to ask, particularly if there is a QRP station or if there's YLs out there. And some people, if they're good operators, they'll just kind of listen to the rhythm. And I've had plenty of people running 5 watts just blow right through a pileup because they time it just right.
Yeah, I
And
listen to the QRP guys too.
And then pay attention to what the operator's doing and don't make up your own, nothing worse than throwing off your groove when somebody answers you and totally out of place or what have you. But,
I know.
But this is a QSO party, and it's, you want to get as many people in, but you also don't want to just treat them like, 5-9, see ya,
Yeah, no. Yeah, it depends on the time of day and am I rolling in a big pile up? Because don't mess with the rhythm.
Yeah, exactly.
Slow, heck, I'll stop and chat with an old buddy. My editor, Mark K1RO, normally jumps in on the QSO party, so I get to work him in the middle of the QSO party.
Yeah.
So we have all sorts of fun.
That's good. Hey, Alan was going to bring up his Hamfest again this weekend.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Alan.
We don't want to forget that.
Okay. Yeah. Let me just let me pop up the program grid here. This is
wow.
For the I said it's a pretty extensive program. You can see there's actually 10 different tracks for classes,
Sheesh.
and then there's a number 5 classes in each track at least, or sometimes 4. As Glenn mentioned, there's a couple of really good ones there. For anybody who's interested in the space program at all, this talk right here, this Flying to the Moon, this Frank O'Brien who's given a talk on the Apollo guidance computer. It's just fascinating. I saw him give this talk a couple of years ago at another event, and it's just really just fascinating what went into that guidance computer, 50 years ago.
Yeah, I've got that on my list.
So
that looks to be a good one.
Yeah, Frank does a really good job on that, so I highly recommend that. As you can see, there's a number of different tracks and technologies, from a lot of them obviously kind of programming based, like object-oriented programming, and there is an Arduino class here. I know Evan, who's given that class there. So anyway, that's that program. For anybody who knows someone who wants to get licensed, track 11 is kind of the unofficial track, which is the ham cram. If you scroll down on the page here, there is a place where you can download the program book. I will caution you that I just got a hold of the organizer that the link that is in that book that goes to the study materials for the ham cram is currently not correct, but it should be correct by tomorrow. So if you just go to tcf-nj.org, you can grab that program book tomorrow to download the study guide. But I will tell you that the study materials, the presentation that I go through with two friends of mine, is based on the KB6NU No Nonsense Study Guide with a technician class license. So if you just look up that and study that material, you'll be really well prepared as well. But anyway, it's going to be a good event. Again, a lot of really good talks. I did hear they will be recorded and at some point be posted. But Dr. Katz, who's running all of this, said that he's got to go through and get permissions from everybody and all that kind of stuff before they're posted. So it probably will be several days before they're up for everybody. But should be a fun event, especially if you're stuck in instead of going out and shoveling snow. You could listen to a couple of interesting talks. But all the times here are Eastern Daylight Time. So anyway, hopefully everybody goes and enjoys that.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is that they're simultaneous forums that I want to be at.
Yeah, that's the hard part with this, especially you should see when people are when we're doing it live. It's all at the Trenton, the College of New Jersey, and their campus, and it's all in one building. But people running back and forth between classes, they're trying to learn a little bit from both of them, so it's kind of fun to watch.
Is pre-registration required, or can someone just show up to that website on Saturday and log in, or?
If you just want to go to the classes, any of those classes, just show up. If the only thing that requires registration beforehand is to register to take an online VE exam.
Oh, okay.
For the ham cram. If you just want to go to the ham cram and you don't plan on doing a test that day, you can just show up for that as well. It's all free. There's no charge for it. The
Great.
Zoom links are all right there, so will all be posted right there. So it's very easy to go get to.
Great. We should make sure that's shared on the W5QB Facebook page, and I'll share that with our ham club here too.
Great. Okay.
One of the things I see in your notes here was one of your founders was Saul Leibs.
Yes. Yep.
Didn't he publish Creative Computing or one of those magazines?
I think he did. I'd have to go back to, if I go, actually, you go to the program book, it actually has a bio for everybody.
Because they're doing a remembrance of him on one
Yeah.
of the
So
tracks, which I
yeah,
thought
I think he was. I think he was. He's been around forever. He's been involved in the college forever. But I believe you're right.
yeah, because he was one of the early pioneers in the computer era.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, this whole Trenton Computer Festival kind of grew up with the whole computer era. You know, it's been around that long.
Yeah, this is going to keep me busy all day.
Okay.
All right, guys. So we have about 8 minutes until the end of the show tonight. That marks the end of our shortwave segment. We need an 8-minute filler here, guys. What are we gonna do?
I don't know. I was looking for the cat to see if I could get her to do something, but she's had enough.
Yeah.
I was going to log off and say goodnight.
Yeah, it's getting late, dear. I know it's late for Alan.
Not as late for Alan. I always feel bad. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, it's late for him.
Yeah.
It's 9 o'clock. It's like, all right, it's my bedtime. Oh, hi, Jeff.
Right.
You know, that was one of the things I loved when I moved to Alabama and Mississippi is we're on Central Time, and that's just the perfect time zone for me.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, our show now is only 5 hours difference from UTC time. So.
Oh, I hate time changes.
Yeah, I do too.
I do
wish we
too.
could go
Oh,
back
yeah.
to a single time, but you know, right now our show is we're plus 5 hours, so instead of 6. So.
I think I'm on
Yes.
Hawaii time naturally.
Are you?
Oh, well, Sunday morning is the second Sunday of the month. Dwayne runs our Wyoming net in the morning. On the fourth Sunday, I run the net. Well, this week, of course, was the second, so it was Dwayne's turn. And, you know, I'm like out cold, and I hear the coffee maker going off, and kind of pops in. He's like, all right, your coffee's ready to get up. And I just, you know, like a zombie out to the kitchen to find my coffee. And I look at the clock on the wall and it's 6:30. And I'm like, what the hell? Why is he waking me up at 6:30? The net doesn't start till 8. And then I was like, oh crap, daylight savings time. Did I just get beeped?
Keep bleeped.
You just got bleeped twice.
I thought so. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. I mean, you know, we have our control center here has all the, you know, things they need to, you know, keep it
I've
PG rated
never
here.
been beeped.
I found an interesting interesting problem here that I'd never come across before. I've got a one of these kind of atomic clocks here in the shack that I've got temperature and all kinds of stuff on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the last time I replaced batteries in it, it worked for about a day and then it kind of died. But I've had it for a couple of years. I figured it was just cheap. So finally, I was looking at it the other day, and just the little LCD characters were blinking. So I figured, let me just try new batteries in it again. I pulled the batteries out and I went to test them. And the one battery tested still about 1.5 volts, but the other battery tested minus 1.2 volts. I'd never seen a AA battery reverse polarity like that. I was like, what the heck was that? And I looked at it, the date on it was, you know, expires 2025. So it was a relatively new battery. I'd probably put in a year before, but I'd never seen, and it wasn't put in reverse polarity. It was put in the right way, but I'd never seen a AA battery that read reverse polarity on it when I went to measure it. It's just because I put it on with a DMM and it said, okay, it's a little bit low, but then I looked and said, is that a negative sign? And of course I got out the trusty Simpson 260 and boom, sure enough, it, you know, banged the meter the wrong way. It's like, well, that's a new one on me. I never saw that before.
I've never seen that in a standard.
I haven't either.
Wild.
But there's hey, Look at here. See, he went to the trusty analog Simpson 260 meter just so he could see what was really going on, man.
No, he wanted to see it bang against the negative stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I still use the analog meters. I like seeing that needle. I like seeing it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get me one.
Well, yeah, when that digital thing starts moving around, I have no idea what I'm looking at, man. You know.
Yep. Well, like I said, I gave a talk about a week or two ago to another club talking about just test equipment in the ham shack, and the first part of it was talking about meters, and we talked about analog VOMs and digital multimeters, and you know, I said you really need both because both of them, each of them do something well, and I kind of said that the digital multimeter is like your calculator, the analog multimeter is like a slide rule, right? But the slide rule and the analog multimeter make you think. And when you're messing around with electronics, that's not a bad thing. So.
All right, it's time to end the show tonight. Thanks everybody for joining the group here. Thanks to all our remote co-hosts and all of our visitors that have watched tonight, people in the chat room. We'll see you next week. I hope I can call the 40 meter net next week. We'll see what's going on there. Watch for us on a special event, KA6LMS, next week. We'll be on there as KA6LMS/4, and Katie will also be on as /7 there. You know, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, we'll see you next week. And tell your friends about the show. Help us promote it on your social media sites. We really need your help to help get the word out about the show. You know, we've had viewers in 150 countries and lots and lots and lots of viewers, but there's still many people that have never heard about the show. So please help us get the word out there. And if you're a DMR guy and you love to call a net and join our crew here as a net control for the show, we'd love to have you. We have our own DMR group, talk group, 31693, I think is Amateur Radio Roundtable, and we're not using it. So 73 to everybody. Thanks for listening out there on shortwave, amateur radio, ham radio show, WBCQ 7490 on shortwave. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com, tom@w5kub.com, and we will see you same time next week. Good night to everyone. All right.
Hi, everybody.